Hello, students. Next week is going to be a special week. You will not be at school next week. Monday and Tuesday are remote learning days. And then Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday are the Thanksgiving holiday. So, this lesson this week is going to be about Thanksgiving. So, I want to read you a little bit about what Thanksgiving is. We're going to talk about what they ate at the very first Thanksgiving. Then we're going to have a Thanksgiving story. And then I want you to tell me what you're thankful for. So I'll have a Padlet for you to send in your responses. Okay? Thanksgiving is. Thanksgiving is a holiday for giving thanks. In the United States, Thanksgiving is celebrated on the fourth Thursday of November. Thanksgiving is the Pilgrims. In September 1620, a group of 101 passengers sailed from Plymouth, England in search of a new home. These men, women, and children were called pilgrims. They wanted the freedom to worship in their own way, which they had not been allowed to do. They crossed the Atlantic Ocean in a small ship called the Mayflower. Their voyage was difficult. They sailed through many storms. One passenger died, and a baby was born. At last, after a long voyage, they came ashore at what is now Plymouth, Massachusetts. The pilgrims began to build homes. Winter came with its cold winds. Pilgrims had little food to eat. Many of them died. When spring finally arrived, the pilgrims were grateful. Native Americans taught them how to grow the foods that they themselves ate. Also, they taught the pilgrims how to be better hunters. During the growing season, the crops grew and grew. The fall harvest was plentiful. The pilgrims wanted to thank God for the abundance of food they could have they would have for the coming winter. The first Thanksgiving, there was a great feast. The Native Americans were invited. It was the pilgrims' first Thanksgiving, the fall of 1612. The first Thanksgiving lasted 3 days. Thanksgiving is a holiday. So, what did they eat at the first Thanksgiving? Did they eat turkey? Did they have pumpkin pie? Did they have cranberry sauce? Let's see what it says. Would you eat turkey at the first Thanksgiving? Yes, there were plenty of roasted wild turkey at the first Thanksgiving, and probably stuffing too. Though it didn't taste like the stuffing we eat today, the pilgrims made their stuffing with cornmeal, and they might have added cranberries. It was called pudding in the belly. What other foods did they have at the first Thanksgiving? They ate stewed eels. They ate cod and sea bass, their favorite dish. They ate roasted geese and duck. They probably even ate roasted swans. They ate plenty of cornbread. They did not eat the pigs that they brought along on the Mayflower. Meat and bread were the pilgrims' favorite foods. They didn't like vegetables, but they ate them. Having lived on stale and salty food the first winter, they were grateful for all the new fresh vegetables that they had now, such as boiled pumpkins and beans. The biggest treat at the festival was deer meat that the Native Americans had supplied. Did the Pilgrims make cranberry sauce? There were cranberries all around Plymouth, and they were easy to pick. But they did. But so why didn't the Pilgrims make cranberry sauce? They didn't have sugar. They tried. Try eating raw cranberry. It's sour. Unless cooked with something sweet, it tastes terrible. The Pilgrims didn't get sugar till long after the first Thanksgiving. Even then, they had very little of it, and it was used mostly as seasoning like salt, rather than for cooking and baking. So there was no sugar. So there was no cranberry sauce. They also did not have dessert. So uh, their dessert was not like our dessert. They didn't have apple pie or pecan pie or pumpkin pie or pumpkin cake or um, any of that. They had dried fruit, but not fresh fruit because it was too late in the year to pick wild berries and fruit. And they didn't like it anyway. So they cooked fruit in puddings. So you had eaten, so they would make a pudding out of cornmeal and sweeten it with dried fruit. And that's what dessert was at the first Thanksgiving. Why didn't the Pilgrims serve pumpkin pie? Pumpkin pie is one of our favorite Thanksgiving foods. The Pilgrims had pumpkins and they knew how to make pies. But there were no pumpkin pies at the first Thanksgiving. Part of it because, again, no sugar. Okay? So that's what they ate during the first Thanksgiving. Now, there's Thanksgiving in the modern day is different. So for us, Thanksgiving is a holiday. So in 1863, President Abraham Lincoln proclaimed the last Thursday of November to be Thanksgiving Day. This was the first nationally declared Thanksgiving Day for the United States. Then in 1939, President Franklin Delano Roosevelt made a change and declared Thanksgiving Day to be the fourth Thursday of November. Thanksgiving Day has many symbols. There are Thanksgiving decorations. In many ways, our Thanksgiving celebrations remind us of the Pilgrims' Thanksgiving. There are pumpkins, turkeys, fall leaves, and other symbols gathered together to look like harvest time. Some homes are decorated for Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is family and friends. Family and friends share time together, come together. Family and friends come together to share good times. It's a time of loving and sharing. Thanksgiving is a Thanksgiving feast. So, at our Thanksgivings, there are turkey, stuffings, cranberries, sweet potatoes, beans, squash, cornbread, and other things to eat. And that pumpkin pie and pumpkin cake and apple pies. Thanksgiving is desserts. There's pumpkin pie, mincemeat pie, bread pudding, baked apples, all kinds of different treats. It is also a time of giving. Sometimes people send Thanksgiving cards. They may give plants or flowers when they visit others. One of Miss Rouse's favorite things about Thanksgiving, and I'm so sad that they're not going to have it this year, is the Macy's Day Parade. And I've watched that every year since I can remember. And this year they're not going to have it. But the Macy's Day Parade is also a part of Thanksgiving for me. And all of us have different Thanksgiving traditions that we celebrate in our family. Now, we are going to read. This is one of Miss Rouse's favorites. Twas the night before Thanksgiving. It's by Dave Pilkey. Dave Pilkey is the man who writes Dogman and Captain Underpants. He writes those books. So this is one of his picture books. So this is called "'Twas the Night Before Thanksgiving." 'Twas the night before Thanksgiving, and all through the trees the fall leaves were spinning aloft in the breeze. 8 children had boarded their school bus with grins in hopes that a field trip would soon begin. They sang as they rode through autumn terrains while visions of drumsticks danced in their brains. Over rivers, through woods, with winding and weaves, their school bus sailed on through the new fallen leaves. When out on the road, there arose such a clatter, they threw down their windows to see what was the matter. When what to their wondering eyes should they see but a miniature farm and 8 tiny turkeys, and a little old man so lively and rugged, they knew in a moment it was Farmer McNugget. He was dressed all in denim from his head to his toe, with a pinch of polyester and a dash of Velcro. And then in a twinkling they heard in the straw the prancing and pawing of each little claw. More rapid than chickens, his cockerels they came. He whistled and shouted and called them by name. Now Ollie, now Stanley, now Larry and Moe, on Wally, on Beaver, on Sheep and Groucho. The tigers were the turkeys were chunky, with smiley beat faces, and they greeted the children with downy embraces. So out through the barnyard they ran and they flew, and they gobbled and giggled as friends sometimes do. Then somebody spotted an axe by the door, and she asked Farmer Nugget what it was for. With a blink of his eye and a twist of his head, the old farmer told a grim tale of dread. Tonight, said McNugget, these feathery beasts will be chopped up and roasted for Thanksgiving feast. The children stood still as tears filled their eyes, and they clamored aloud in a chorus of cries. Oh dear, cried McNugget. Now what shall I do? So he dashed to the well, and the teacher went too, and they fetched some water, fresh from the ground, in hopes that a swig might calm everyone down. And when they returned to quiet the matter, the children were calmer and mysteriously fatter. The boys and girls drank up their drinks in the hay and thanked old Mac Nugget and waddled away. They limped to the school bus, all huffing and puffing. It's not easy to walk with hot turkey stuffing. And then as the school bus drove in the night, McNugget looked around, not a turkey in sight. 'Twas the night before Thanksgiving, and the stars up above shone down on a school bus, abounding with love. The very next evening, 8 families were blessed with 8 fluffy Thanksgiving turkeys as guests. They feasted on veggies with jelly and toast, and everyone was thankful. The turkeys were most. So each one gave thanks for love and for living, and they all had a wonderful, happy Thanksgiving. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to post to the Padlet. Okay, students, so for this part of the video, I'm going to show you how to get on and add to the Padlet. Okay, so to get to the Padlet, you're going to go to swe.lexcs.org. Then you can go to Our People, then Media, and then you're going to go to, and then you're going to click right here where it says 1st through 5th grade Thankful Padlet. When you get on, you're just going to click on this plus sign down here at the bottom. For your title, write your name. And then you're going to tell me what you're thankful for. Okay, so I'm thankful for my family, friends, coworkers, and students. So when you're done, you're going to go over here to the side and click off. And then it says down here at the bottom, see where it says awaiting approval right there? So then I'll log in and I'll approve your post. So it's very simple. You just tell me what you're thankful for in this, okay? I hope that you have a wonderful Thanksgiving and a wonderful Thanksgiving break. Have a good rest of the week. Bye bye.